Okay, so we're going to be doing a pedicure with this Dazzle Dry color. It's called Purity. It's really, really nice. It's sheer, but it gives like a really nice clean look. I'm going to spray the toes with alcohol. It's a little cold. I apologize to the clients. So now I use an alcohol gel for the bottoms, just so I can warm it up a little bit in my hands. And now you're not on the plane. It's my Bodex Salon Air amazing dust extraction unit. It really, actually, it's my favorite. It really does a good job. It has many levels, which is nice, and it's not as loud as it sounds on camera. It just has more of a humming sound. So I do recommend for the clients, in order to prevent surface damage, to take the nail polish off a few days before the appointment if they're coming on a regular basis. So usually I have clients come in every month, and even though the nail polish still looks good, it is always better to take it off and use either some type of treatment. You can actually even use the RPI, okay, this stuff, because there is usually some sort of surface damage. It's much less with the Dazzle Dry compared to other polishes, but it still can happen, especially on the big toenails, because they're much longer, they're bigger, so it takes much longer for the damage to grow out. So clients can actually, if they have surface damage, they can do this a few times before they come in for the pedicure. It really helps. And obviously they can use oil as much as possible. That also helps to plasticize the nail. I recommend using oil anyway, but especially when the polish is off, because then it can really penetrate the nail much easier. So normally when I'm working without filming, I actually do each step 10 times. So I now would cut the nails off the other foot, but I have the camera set up here, so it's more comfortable to just do one foot at a time. This is Erica file. These files are excellent because they're nice and thin and they have no give. So they really give you a lot of control, especially for pedicures. I really like. See? So this is a urea foam callus softener. This client actually doesn't have any calluses, but I still use it. It's not going to irritate the skin or anything. I'm going to repeat the same on the other foot. This is a perfect example of the difference between the skin fold here and the cuticle here. So I don't push back the cuticle because I don't want to end up with the cuticle underneath the skin fold, right? So I just nudge back the skin fold and then I remove the cuticle. And I only nudge it as far as it will go naturally. I don't really push. I don't separate the skin. It's just very gentle nudge. And I don't press down. I feel for the skin and I edge it back. See, this is cuticle. Trying to soften the hardened skin. I always feel the skin. I don't go only by how the skin looks because that can be deceiving actually. If it feels softer, my job is done. I can reduce some of that hardened skin. This is absolutely normal because our feet get squished in shoes and they develop hardened skin to protect the structures underneath. So this was a fine sanding bed. Now I'm going to switch to tapered barrel. And this is my favorite bit. It has a perfect angle. Actually, I don't know any other company other than Erica that makes this angle. I don't think. Because when they're sometimes completely flat, you have to hold the file too flat. This one has this really good angle. The white that you see is part of cuticle. Sometimes the cuticle, I don't know why that is, in corners tends to like stick. this one fits really well here. I'm always very careful that I don't actually overfile the nail here. You see all this area. I actually kind of work on the skin and just making sure that there is no callus here. I don't really file the nail here, because if you do, if you thin out the nail, when the client puts pressure, it can actually break. I'm actually working on 11,000 RPM. I had some viewers asking. See this, I'm going to get with the cuticle nipper because I just don't want to go over and over the same area of the nail again and again. I don't want to overfile. This as well. See how I'm getting underneath the skin fold, kind of gently though. I'm not really digging underneath there. Now this little round bit fits really nicely in these little areas. Again, you have to be careful that you don't overfile the skin. This is good. Make sure that I feel the underside of the nail with the clipper, because sometimes what I've seen, what people do, they just like push it in and they just clip. That's dangerous because you can really cut the hyponychium. So I slide the edge of the clipper and I'm feeling for it, that I'm just catching the nail. Sometimes you can see I kind of wiggle the tool to make sure that I'm just catching the nail. Sometimes I'm not comfortable cutting, and then I will shorten with electric file, or I'll cut as much as I feel comfortable with the clippers, and then I use the e-file or even hand file. So I feel the underside of the nail. It's almost like I put pressure on that area. I'm gonna do little clips. You don't want to be clipping like this. You can really cut the hyponychium. I'll explain to you how sometimes the nail can grow into the skin when it's not cut properly. So this is what happens sometimes. People cut here up to here, and then they leave this little spike underneath here like this. If I left it like this, this could be uncomfortable. I don't think it's going to become ingrown, but it might be uncomfortable. You see this edge? This edge has to be rounded. Sometimes you can even get in like this, and then I feel now this is smooth, and then I further smooth this with the file. Again, this is the skin fold, this is cuticle. the way, if you want to get into these corners and you don't have electric file, you can actually do it this way. Just open up the skin a little bit and do this with the file. And then just use proper creams to just soften that skin and prevent that from happening. So now I'm going to actually smooth the skin with the Erica file again. This is a medium file. It leaves a very nice smooth surface. Skin. I really don't like overfiling the skin because I find that it actually causes more problems in the long run. So less is more. It's better for the clients to exfoliate on a regular basis at home once a week than me overfiling until the skin is pink to try to somehow remove the dry skin. Dry skin cannot be, it can be removed, but that's not how you fix it. the reason why I'm not a huge fan of scrubs in general, they tend to irritate the skin. But the reason why I like this one, it's because the grainy little bits are citric acid, and very gently I just go over the areas that usually don't get a lot of scrubbing, so usually here and behind. And then I use the exfoliating crystals, sorry, the activator, and that dissolves the citric acid. C&D used to have spa citrus manicure or something like that years ago, like we're talking probably 20 years ago, and I loved it for that purpose. It had a really beautiful smell. Okay, so I loved it, and I talk about it in my other videos sometimes too, as a part of the pedicure, as a part of the treatment. But is this something that I would recommend for like a regular use, or is it necessary? No. It's more for relaxation. It's just a nice touch, but it's absolutely not necessary. So now this is pretty much dissolved. Repeat the same thing on the other foot. Now, as the mask is sitting, I polish the nails. Make sure that the base coat is nice and clear, completely clear. If it's cloudy, it's not going to bond to the nail properly. And by the way, if you're new to Dazzle Dry, you just have to warm it up. Just put it in some warm water. I mean, stand the bottle in the warm water. For a few minutes. So I wiped this nail with prep again, so I'm going to wait for this nail to dry before I put the base coat. So I'll just work on the other nails. It is really important for the base coat to dry properly. So I always look at the nail from different angles to make sure that there is no shiny spots indicating that there is some wet base coat. Okay, so this is funny. Because of me moving the camera so much, I realized that I didn't put the toe separators on this foot, which is fine because the toes are nicely separated. That's funny. So I'm actually going to add Stardust. It's a little bit more sheer. So this is still a little wet. This is dry. So I'm gonna just take the majority of the mask off this way. And then the rest I'm going to clean up with a hot towel. So this usually takes me about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, depending.